friends. Happy Friday. My name is Leighellen, and this is Mama Leighellen's Book Nook here on BookTube. I have a massive stack of book mail to go over. So I'm just going to go over it. I also have some little goodies that were given to me by friends, and I have a book that I just finished. So that's what I'm going to chat about today. What else can I tell you? For everyone that subscribes to my channel and comments down below with which of these books they want to read, you get entered into a giveaway for one of these books. So I will announce the winner on Sunday. So that's the fun part. So let's talk books. First of all, let me talk about this. I love Esther. I have read all of her books. She is kind of known for these fantastic Regency romance, Victorian romances, and this one was exactly what I needed. I read it last night in one sitting. It's pretty short. It was a lot of fun. This is kind of wonky. Can you see me? I'm totally... All right. Okay, so the way this story works, it follows this gal. Her name is Diana, and she runs this railroad, and one of her friends gets in dire straits when her husband dies, and so she takes over his railroad also in the meantime. And what ends up happening, because of the era, men think that women don't know what they're doing, and so they all try to like come to her rescue and marry her. So she suddenly has all of these suitors that like don't even want her. They just want her railroad or just want her money. And it causes drama that she doesn't need because, hi, she's got a business to run. She's trying to run a business. All these dudes keep showing up at her office trying to get her to marry them. So she comes up with this brilliant idea, which is hilarious, to kind of like hire this Baron who's known for being a rake, because she knows that he's not actually interested in her. He's just wants a fling. So it's kind of like a Pretty Woman scenario, but reversed. So this wealthy woman sort of hires this man to pretend to have affairs with her so that it scares away the other eligible bachelors because she doesn't want them following her. So kind of funny. So that's what happens. They end up in all these hilarious situations because obviously they're not actually interested in each other. But of course, then by pretending that they are, they end up liking each other. And it's just really cute. So Esther outdid herself. The chemistry in this is fantastic. It's just a really adorable romance. It's very funny. It's also kind of deep because he ends up, being a man who's like dealing with loss himself. And so he's not as much of a scoundrel as he makes himself out to be. He just does that to like put up walls. So I highly recommend this one. It comes out May 10th, so it's not out yet. I will put the link in the bio down below where you can order it, but it's not out yet. So, but put this on your radar. Fantastic, fun romance. All right. The next stuff I got that I want to share with you is just because I love Bookstagram. My friends there, you guys know that I lost my account. My influencer account got deleted by Instagram. I don't know when I'm going to get it back. I'm working on it. Like, no humans actually work there. If you know a human that works there, please send them my way. So in the meantime, I'm doing things more here and on my blog, but the wonderful universe of Bookstagram, they're just good people. And so I've met some amazing people that have really helped and just loved on me during this period. And so one of the things that I do is I'm part of this fantasy book club. And so this sticker came today. This is the name of our group, House of Game of Thrones and TikToks. It really started off the name of the first book we read, and then it ended up being this chat about Game of Thrones. And then one of our friends, Patty, kept sending all these funny TikTok dances. So that's our random name. So she sent a sticker. So thank you, Patty. I love you. I will link her below. The other thing I got, which is totally also related. Look, hi, they're like the same, but different. Oh, it's upside down. This is a book. Is that upside down? No. This is a bookmark that was designed by my friend, The Latest Book Crush, and she sent this to me. It is one of her custom. She hand paints those. Isn't that dope? So she made this bookmark. These are all of the books that we have read together. So we've read some bonkers books, but they've been fantastic. So if you are not part of the Bookstagram community, despite the drama of Instagram sucking, I highly recommend it because they're just amazing people. You get involved in these book chats and book clubs and book groups, and it's just so much fun. I've met really great people. So thank you, you guys, for sending me these goodies. It made my day. Okay, book mail. You guys, I have a lot of book mail. I have maybe 20 or so books. So we are live. So if I start to lose, I'm losing my voice already. If I start to lose my voice, I might take a break. But let's go through all of these books. These are all books that have been sent to me by publishers or book tours. I will mention them as I go. None of these I've read yet. They literally just came this past week. And most of them are either about to be published or just came out. And I will try to give you dates. I wrote notes before I came on here so I wouldn't forget, because usually I record these and produce them and they look pretty and I edit out me saying 47 times, but this is so much easier to just come on and do a live for you. So that's what I'm doing, because then you get it faster, because I have last month's book mail still in my camera from when I recorded it and I never put it up because it takes so long to edit. So these are just live. So first up, I'm just going to read, everything's on the floor, so just bear with me as I like reach down. Sunset at Moonlight Beach. I have to find the right books because they were in order and then I dropped the stack to take a picture, which was really smart. Okay, I lie. Where is that book? See, this is the problem with live. We'll just go. I won't go in order. How about that? Let's see. This one, The Stepsisters. I will just not go in order. We'll wing it and hope that I find my notes for each book. Maybe this is a terrible idea. This is where live is brutal, you guys. The Stepsisters. Okay, The Stepsisters. This is from TLC Book Tours. This comes out May 25th. This is probably women's fiction is probably where this is going to land. It's a multi-generational story that follows a blended family. So these two girls, their parents meet and get married. So now they are stepsisters. And then their parents have a third sister between the two of them. So now there's three sisters that are half sisters. And the two original sisters don't get along at all. They're opposites. They fight. They think that the third sister will connect them, and they don't. So eventually the parents get divorced, and they just assume they won't ever see each other again. But then the third sister, something happens. You don't know. You got to read the book. And it brings the three of them together. So I think it's going to be a good look at blended families, a good look at family drama, and even just like the assumptions that you make as a child that when you grow up you realize aren't true. So I think it's going to be kind of those misconceptions that follow you through childhood into adulthood. So this comes out, this was from TLC Book Tours, comes out May 25th. And there you go. Susan Mallory, The Stepsisters. Boom, done. Book number 1. Next. Up next, ooh, I kind of want to skip to these guys. I really wonder where one of my books went, which is kind of a bummer because I was excited to talk about it. Okay, these are, I love middle grade. These are middle grade books. Can you see these? These are 2 middle grade books that were sent to me from HarperCollins Influencer Group. And I really have a soft spot for middle grade. They tend to be, I don't know, just like YA, they can end up talking about subjects that are deeper and tougher without, hurting anybody's feelings. They tend to be sensitive about the way that they talk about things and just gentle in their approach. And so it makes them very relatable and attainable and readable. So I love middle grade books. In the BookTube world, there's Middle Grade March, where everyone kind of focuses on reading middle grade books, but I tend to read them all year long instead of just waiting. So let's see what we got here. So first up is Finding Jennie Kim. I'm too close, aren't I? Finding Jennie Kim. Let's see. This one comes out May 4th. HarperCollins. The author is Ellen O. And this is a story that's based off of her own mother's experience during the Korean War. So this little girl, I want to say maybe 7th grade. I could be lying. I haven't read the book yet. I'm just reading the back. but she gets bullied at school. She gets made fun of, and she kind of keeps to herself and is quiet. And then eventually there's like graffiti that happens at her school, and her friends are like, you have to speak up, you have to say something. And she doesn't really want to. And she ends up kind of spiraling and taking some pills, and her parents, luckily she has supportive parents that love her, and they get her help, and she gets a therapist. And through this process, she gets really close to her grandparents and starts asking them about their history, and they tell her what it was like during the Korean War. And I do think it's got, for this age group, especially because it's middle grade, not YA, it's got some trigger warnings because there is suicide discussion, there is some bullying and racism, and then obviously effects of the war. But, great, if you've got middle graders, a great starting point for these kinds of discussions, which ties into the next one really well. This book is Unsettled, and this is also HarperCollins. This one comes out May 11th. And this one I'm really excited about because I loved, where is it? Other Words for Home. I'm like, it's back there. I could go get it, but it's live and I can't edit me just walking away from the camera. This sounds similar to that. It is a story, middle grade story told in verse. So if you liked Elizabeth Acevedo, like Clap When You Land, that is going to be similar. So you can see it is written in verse. But it is about a young girl from Pakistan who moves to Georgia. And so her family immigrates, and she ends up leaving behind all of her extended family and is sad about that. And then she goes to school, and obviously she's different. She's got darker skin. Her clothes are funny. The food she eats is funny. She doesn't fit in. She wants to fit in. And she finds solace in swimming. And then she ends up being really good at it. And so this is one of those, coming of age stories. It's, about overcoming. I think it's going to be a really positive message. And again, I loved Other Words for Home. It sounds like it's got some similar themes like that one. So I think if you like that one, if you like Elizabeth Acevedo, you will like that. So Unsettled, May 11th. I'm kind of all over the place here. Okay, next up is a book that I cannot find on the floor. Where are your book on the floor? Okay, I'm going to skip to these two. These two are Sheila Roberts. Actually, it's the same book, so I'm only going to hold up one of them. Sheila Roberts, Sun Set on Moonlight Beach. This was sent to me from Uplit Reads, and this just came out like maybe yesterday, April 27th. What is today? Came out a couple days ago. So this one, I love her books. I've read all of them. They make for awesome summer reads, and we're getting into that season, so I'm pretty excited to read this. This is about a gal who gets divorced, moves with her daughter to this town. She takes over an inn and starts to renovate it. And just as like her life is kind of starting over and rebuilding, and she's got this job and she's getting involved in like city council, then something happens. Again, I haven't read the book yet. Something happens and it makes her question all of her choices. But a good second chance romance book, a good book about like family, a little bit of romance, maybe some loss in there. So Sheila always does a great job with these women's fiction books. So I can't wait to read this one. This was sent from Uplit Reads. It's HarperCollins, Sheila Roberts, and it was out April 27th. I do have two of these, so I will be doing a separate giveaway on Instagram for this one. But again, all of you who are watching, comment below and tell me at the end which one you want, and you will get entered into a giveaway. Because I literally, you guys, I read a book a day, so I go through these really fast, and it's just silly to have them sit on these shelves unread after I read them. So I'm very happy to share my books and share my love of reading with all of you, especially because I read such a variety of books. I mean, historical fiction and YA tends to be my sweet spot, but I do get sent all sorts of books. So there's more. Which, speaking of, great transition. Here is another example of random books Leighellen reads. Don't give the enemy a seat at your table. This is Louis Giglio, who, if you don't know him, I think he's like officially a pastor, but I've only ever seen him as like a public speaker. So a lot of times when I've gone to Christian concerts, he will be there as like a pep rally guy, cheering everybody up or telling about some organization that you can donate to. I adore him. He's very positive. He just is always spot on. He has a way of like speaking truth without being preachy. So just really enjoy him. I have not read this. This comes out May 11th from Thomas Nelson. And here's what it says. It says that this is an inspirational book to give you a pep talk on how to overcome the lies that you tell yourself. So I think a lot of us just sort of make assumptions or say things about ourselves that aren't true. And so he just wants you to speak that truth back into you, that you are, no one qualifies you but God. You are strong. You are good. You are forgiven. You are courageous, like those types of things. You're a warrior, versus what the world wants to tell you, which the world loves for you to get tied up in worry and stress and all that garbage. So this is kind of like ways to identify the lies that are told to you and how to get your life back on track. So it is pretty short, and spread throughout are kind of these like bold boosts, which I like when they do these. So this comes out May 11th from Thomas Nelson. So all of these books too, by the way, I'm sharing with you just Bookmail right now, but I will go back and read them and review them. All my reviews are always posted on Goodreads, and they are also posted on my blog. Sometimes I remember to post on Amazon, but I'm not awesome at that. Not a big Amazoner. Okay, next up is, this is a fun one. This is another summer book. So this is Christy Woodson Harvey. She is like one of my faves. Her books, she has like nailed the genre of women's fiction. She can just rip your heart out, make you cry, make you laugh. I love all of her books. They're always like feel good, but like deep. So, this one, I think it just came out. It came out April 20th. I haven't read it yet. This was sent by the author because I adore her, and they're always awesome books. So here, this one follows a gal named Amelia, who is a journalist, and she ends up finding out that like someone she knew from her childhood, or maybe ex-boyfriend early on, was married to this like famous person who dies, and they had their embryos frozen. And so she has to tell him that expiration date is now up. And he's got to decide if he's going to get a surrogate or not. So it's kind of, all those deep issues. It's got, I guess, you could call them trigger warnings, because there's going to be a loss of a spouse in this one, and there's going to be infertility issues. So if those are triggers for you, go into this gently. But I also have to say, I have not read this, but I know Christy's heart, and she always writes with tenderness and thoughtfulness. And so I do believe that she would handle those very well. And I think, this will end up being a good book about blending, honoring your past with moving into a new future in a positive way. So that is this one, Christy Woodson Harvey, Under the Southern Sky. Did I say April 20th? April 20th is when that one came out. Next up, switch gears and go into YA. Look at this gorgeous cover, by the way. Holy smokes. I love beautiful covers. And let's see, Where the Rhythm Takes You. I think this is Storygram Tours, but let me just find out. Yep, gotta find my paper so I'm saying the right thing. Okay, Where the Rhythm Takes You. This was sent to me by Storygram Tours. And I'm a big Jane Austen fan, as you probably know. You can probably tell that's this whole set right here is all Jane Austen. So I will read anything that is like a remake, a retelling, a version of, and that's this is supposed to be kind of maybe not a spin-off, but loosely based on Jane Austen's Persuasion. So you've got this gal that lives on an island, and she lives in this like resort area, and her mom passed away a couple years ago, and her childhood best friend leaves the island. So basically like everyone's leaving, moving on, growing up, and she just kind of feels stuck on her island. And then the childhood boyfriend makes it big, like 2 years go by, he's like famous, and he comes back to stay at her resort, and I think there's going to be a little romance, maybe a little rekindling, or maybe she just feels like a hot mess because she was left behind. But there's going to be some romance and some drama. So good vacation read, YA. Apparently, let me see. Apparently in the back there's a Oh yeah, that's kind of fun. She's got a playlist in the back because she wants you to listen to the music that kind of inspires this story. So that's super fun too. So coming of age story explores, first love, mother-daughter relationships because her mom dies early on, and then, themes of growing up. So that one, Where the Rhythm Takes You. And you know what? I don't know when this one comes out. I don't have that written down. Let's see if it says in here. It just says 2021. So I'll have to look that up and add it on here later. Okay, switching gears again. This is how I read, folks. Ping, 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 ping. Actually, this is how I read. So I think I'm most known in the Bookstagram world for my historical fiction. I host a historical fiction book club each month. I interview historical fiction authors each month here on BookTube. And that is definitely my heart and my passion. I also love YA, and I do read a lot of memoirs. But what ends up happening is I don't just read the same genre over and over again. Usually what happens is I'll read a historical fiction and then switch to a YA, and then read historical fiction and then read a memoir, and read historical fiction and maybe read not really a thriller. I don't read a ton of thrillers. Maybe a contemporary fiction. But that's kind of how people ask me all the time, how do you get out of a reading slump? I don't get in reading slumps because I don't read the same books. So I think it helps if you are in a reading slump. It's okay to take a break, first of all, but just change genres. Read something else. Read something fun. Read something scary. Read something heart-wrenching. Whatever is the opposite of what you normally read, I think will help you move on. So with that said, here is a classic. My children will laugh and be like, oh, it's historical fiction. Hot tip of the day, it's always historical fiction. If there's women looking away, that's how you can tell a book is historical fiction. So this is The Kew Garden Girls and by Posey LaBelle, and this is by Putnam. Oh, this was sent to me by Putnam, gifted from their influencer team, and it just came out April 20th. And I love me some historical fiction, and I love books about strong women, and this is about these two friends. It's set during World War I when the men leave and then women are left to do men's jobs. So at this time, the men were all like the landscapers and developers of this garden, and they end up taking it over. So it's going to have strong female characters. It's going to be inspirational, maybe a little women's suffrage at the time because this is 1916. So it was, scandalous for women to be having these jobs. But it's also, for a historical fiction short. And then I do love at the end, I love when authors do this. There is a discussion guide at the back. And the author also has her background and history of the book, which I always find interesting, how they came up with the idea and talked about it. So this one just came out, Putnam Books, April 20th. Oh, my pile just fell. Next up, again, switching gears. This is kind of fun to go through my Bookmail and realize how random my reading is. Because I do always think of myself as only reading historical fiction, but wow, there's good stuff in here. Okay, this is People of Abandoned Character. This was sent to me by K Publicity Book Tours, and this is going to be interesting because this is, what would this fall under? Historical thriller, maybe historical mystery. So it's kind of a fresh take on Jack the Ripper. So it's going to have that thriller aspect. The story is a reimagining of Jack the Ripper from his wife's perspective. So you have this woman who is a nurse or is training to be a nurse, and she meets this charming, handsome, amazing doctor. They fall head over heels in love. She rushes into marriage. They go on their fantastic honeymoon, have this amazing time, and then come back and he switches gears and is a jerk. He's abusive and violent and angry, and she's afraid of him. And he starts like disappearing, and it ends up that as she reads the paper, she starts to realize he's disappearing as these like prostitutes are getting murdered, and it all coincides with the same date. So she starts thinking that maybe he is this person that she's reading about in the newspaper. So I don't read a ton of thrillers, but I do love historical fiction, and this one, from what I've read with reviews and just the publicity that comes out with this, is it's a little maybe dark, but it's filled with a lot of true history from this era, and just kind of what it was like to be a woman during this era, what it was like in the slums during this era, because this is, 1800s in London. So while mixed with thriller. So history, thriller, all sounds good. People of Abandoned Character. Thank you to K-Publicity for sending this one on. Next up on my notes that are everywhere. I think I did all of these. Let me just check. Sunset on Moonlight Beach, we did. Jennie Kim, Unsettled, Don't Give. Yep. Okay, that's done. I'm going to close that so I don't read the same page again. Switching gears to rom-com, from murder to rom-com. Okay, next up we have Plot Twist by Bethany Turner. This is a rom-com sent from Thomas Nelson, and this comes out June 15th. So this is not out yet. This will be another month, but I will read it and let you know all about it. But here's what it's about. It is about, this gal is, okay, I should back up. This book takes place over 10 years. This gal is in this coffee shop. She is writing a screenplay, like hates her current job, hopes to someday be a screenwriter, ends up meeting this man in this coffee shop and chatting. And he happens to be a struggling actor. So they decide, it's the cutest little meet cute, right? They decide to meet 10 years from now, because she's like, hey, by then I'll have this screenplay for you and you can act in it. So plot twist, that is what this one is based on. So it follows the way that the story is written. Each chapter is on that same day a year later. And so you kind of get an update of what's been going on in her life over that past year. So it follows 10 years in this gal's life on the same day. And I think, again, haven't read it yet, think it's going to have that kind of like faded love story, right? That what's the word I'm looking for? Fate. What's another word? Fate. Destiny. I'm like, I can think these lives are going to be the death of me. It's going to be her destiny to meet him again, and how their relationship forms through this. So that is Plot Twist, June 15th, from Thomas Nelson. Also, it's not very long, so I love those. I should be able to read that one pretty dang quick. Stepsisters, I already talked about. nnigan. Where is nnigan? Oh, here we go. This is nnigan. Let me get rid of this. I think that one is done. Okay, nnigan was sent to me from Storygram Tours, and I really picked it because this cover is gorgeous. It kind of reminded me of Namesake. And this is a pure YA fantasy book. This sounds really interesting. It's going to be hard for me to explain what it's about because it sounds like it's kind of confusing. Not confusing. That makes it sound bad. It just sounds like it's one of those books you're going to have to read. And so the reviews that I've read are like, I can't tell you what happens because then it tells the story. So it's all sort of vague. But here's the deal. It's fantasy about a kingdom where there is a king and princes. But that also has this kind of like wormhole time travel element. So the book starts off running where this gal, nnigan, actually, no, nnigan is not her name. What is her name? Her name is Keegan. So I don't know if nnigan is maybe the land that this takes place in. That might be my guess. I'm not sure. But her name is Keegan, and the story starts off with a scene where she is the only person alive in this room in the middle of court, and court as in like kings and queens courts, not court as in like American judges. So she somehow ends up going through this time portal and ending up in this other land. And just as this king and three princes walk in and see her as the only person in this room still alive. So then they think she's like this chosen one, precious child. They call her something. What do they call her? Basically, she's like the child of prophecy. And that's where the story begins. So she's trying to figure out how she ended up in this land. They're trying to figure out who she really is. And I think it's going to be exciting because it's fantasy and time travel, which is kind of a fun combo. So that is nnigan. This was sent by Storygram Tours, and I believe I'm reading and reviewing this like in a couple days. So you should hear about that one pretty soon. What's next, you guys? I'm getting down to the end here. Oh, this is kind of a fun one. This is not a book tour. This was me buying this book, but I wanted to share it with you because I adore Amy Harmon. I've read all of her books. Well, I thought I'd read all of her books. So that's actually how the conversation started. So I was chatting with friends because I had recently read the Songbook of Benny Lament. I hosted a book chat on that. And then I actually even interviewed the author. You can watch that. I think it's on my BookTube channel. And we started chatting about what was our favorite book of hers. What the Wind Knows is mine. And she said, what about Making Faces? And I was like, what are you talking about? That's not one of her books. And so I went back, and sure enough, it is. I think it must have been a while ago. What year was this? Not horribly long, 2013. So somehow I missed this one. And it's my friend Karina's favorite book. And she's like, you have to read this book. And so then I ended up chatting with another gal, and she said the same thing. She's like, you have to read this book. It's fantastic. So this is apparently just a really gripping, it's a romance. It's this gal is in love with this boy who's like this perfect 5-star athlete creature, right? And he goes off to war and ends up being the only person in his, I guess, platoon, maybe group. There's 4 of them that all die, and he's the only one that's left. And he comes back, and he's, broken from what he's seen. He's physically changed. He's emotionally changed. And so it's supposed to be a very powerful love story, all about like accepting yourself as you are. So that is Amy Harmon. This is an older book, but when my friends recommend books to me, I'm like on it. I'm a yes. So that is Making Faces, Amy Harmon. If you haven't read any of her books, run out like right now and get the Songbook of Benny Lament. That book is fantastic. If you want What the Wind Knows was fantastic. All her books are fantastic. But okay, moving on. What do we have next? What do I want to talk about next? We can switch gears completely and go with Transformed. This is from TLC Book Tours. This is a memoir. It comes out May 14th. I always say yes to memoirs. Well, I shouldn't say always. Not always, because I only like positive memoirs. But I will always say yes to these people that have these kind of transformative journeys. And so this guy's story is remarkable. He comes from Africa, and his name's Remy Adeliki, and I might have totally slaughtered how you say his name, but he came from royalty originally, and he was growing up in Nigerian royalty, and then something happened with his family, maybe his father, and his father was stripped of his title, and so then they lost all of their money, and the Nigerian government basically kicked them out. He ends up moving with his mom to the Bronx, and she raises him as a single mother, and so his life is like completely changed and transformed. So then he has this other whole life in the Bronx, and he ends up just overcoming all of these issues of poverty and race, and goes on to be a Navy SEAL, which is incredible, and an actor. So I think now he's even like a public speaker. So it's just kind of his story of overcoming, and I love anything positive like that. Perseverance, positive growth. So this is TLC Book Tours, Thomas Nelson, and May 14th. Up next, sorry, I bumped my computer, is Last Night in London. I have not read this one yet either. This was sent to me from Uplit Tours. Last Night in London, Karen White, historical fiction, yay! Dual Timeline, yay! Those are all my favorites. So this is kind of classic World War II historical fiction. It follows this woman who's a journalist, and she is requested to write a story about this woman who has all of these like cool vintage clothes. So she goes to write this story. She meets with the lady, and then the lady starts talking, and of course, she has these secrets about the war and secrets about her life that she starts sharing. So then that's where the dual timeline comes in. You start learning about her life when she was younger in the war. And so you learn about the war, you learn about her history, and you learn about these kind of family secrets that are hidden. So this, I'm sure, is going to be fabulous. I love her books, and she's queen of like women's fiction, historical fiction, and I love anything dual timeline and this time period. So this just came out, I want to say, yep, April 20th, Karen White, Uplit Reads, and it's published by Berkeley. And we're getting close, folks. Next up, they sent me an adorable little bag, I think. Oh, it's like a tote. How cute is that? Here we go. Summer with Sunny. So this is Summer at the Bluffs, Summer on the Bluffs, Summer on the Bluffs. And this comes out Summer on the Bluffs, May 4th from William Morrow. And this takes place on Martha's Vineyard. So we have a summer home on the Cape, and that's where I spent all my summers. And so I love anything Cape Cod, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, I'm going to read. So that is what this is about. This couple, they never had children. They ended up having 3 goddaughters, and she, at some point, they have to decide who's going to take over their home. And so the 3 goddaughters come to find out like who's going to be willed the home. But then the 3 daughters have secrets. The mother has secrets. And so it's kind of all about this like coming out of all of the family secrets. So I think it's going to be a good summer read, obviously. And, you know, Martha's Vineyard, summer, family drama, I'm in. This comes out May 4th from William Morrow. What else you got? Oh, next up, I actually have like book boxes. So this is my literati book box. I don't know if you've heard of literati. On my Momma Leighellen's Book Nook page, I posted about it a lot because it's a really cool monthly book box subscription. What I love about it is it comes, I can show you because this is a recording, not on my phone. It comes with an app. So the app, when you open it, it's so great because you're automatically in a book discussion. This was the book from last month. And they post questions and you can chat with people as you read. So it's really an interactive, immersive experience. And there's like 5 different people that you can choose from that are the hosts for the book club. I choose Malala because she always picks like, incredible women that have like overcome. And let's see here. I'm doing a terrible job of unboxing. This is what was in the box. But here's the cool thing. They always have this little guide, which I think is very well done. So included, it gives you deadlines for what and when you're discussing. It has a little note from her about why she chose that particular story. And then it has a suggested reading pace so that you keep up in the app with dates to chat. And then it always has this little guide, which I think is awesome. They put this so well together where it gives you a little background information on the author. It talks about the why of the story and the themes. So this is the book this month is Come Fly. Jet Age Story of the Women of Pan Am. So Come Fly the World. Come Fly the World is Passport to Another Time, a richly researched, entertaining flight of the women of Pan Am. So let's see what it says about this month. The author is a journalist and travel writer and contributing editor at Virginia Quarterly Review, and this book is about the 1960s Pan Am international adventurers seeking luxury and style in the open sky. Young, ambitious women from around the world came to work for Pan Am. So it's their personal stories of being a stewardess back in the heyday. So that's kind of fun. Literati book boxes, I will put their link in my, what is this called? This isn't stories, in the bio down below. So that you can check them out. They come every month. There's always a bookmark with a quote included. But really, I think what sets this book box apart is the app. The app is awesome. It's so cool to be able to just pop on there and be like, oh my gosh, I just read this part. What do you guys think? And people are always interactive. Malala hops on there and asks questions. So I love it. That is the Literati book box this month. I also got something cute. This is so cute. You can do it, chickadee. So this is a children's book. And I'm not sure. It must have just come out. The authors contacted me and asked me to share it with all of you. But what I love it is that it's kind of like a children's look at depression. And so there's this little chickadee that like doesn't want to get out of bed, and her parents encourage her, and she's like, I'm so tired, I don't think I can do it. And her friends are like, yes, come on, you can do it, you can do it. And 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4. And so she makes it out the door. And then there's even a little thing about her taking medicine. She's got to take some pills that make her feel better. It's about her eating healthy. And I think there's even maybe going to see the doctor. Yeah, so Chickadee starts taking her pills and going to a therapist because she was feeling sad and she has lost interest in things. And then they explain to her what depression is. So I think it's a really good look at how to discuss depression and anxiety with a child who is suffering so that they can feel connected and not alone, and also kind of normalize, seeing a therapist, taking medicine. So this is You Can Do It, Chickadee. They sent some bookmarks along, which are totally adorable. It looks like it's a mother-daughter duo that wrote the book, which is also kind of fun. So that is out. You Can Do It, Chickadee. And then I got this big old box that I'm super excited about. Okay, this is a new book box from Entangled Publishing. So let's see what we got. You guys are checking this stuff out with me at the same time, which is kind of fun. All right. Oh wait, it smells good. Must be something more than just books. Oh, how pretty. Okay, well, this is cool. There's their packaging, first of all, with a cool seal. And then, okay, there is a whole bunch of goodies in here. So, Ember of Night is the book, and it looks like they have included a bracelet in there, a wish bracelet. Once you've read Ember of Night, you will know why we included this wish bracelet. It has a candle. Harley's candle is hand poured from the bookish shop. Okay, I'm assuming this is the candle. I might be wrong. Oh no, maybe not. What is this? Maybe. Is this the candle? Oh, it is. Ooh, that's kind of cool. There's a candle. That's terrible lighting, but it's a cool blue candle. Blue is my favorite color, and it has a wooden wick, which I always love. Those kind of crackle, all fun. Then there is, maybe this is what smells so good. There's a bath bomb. Oh, that's what smells so good. Oh, cool. Look at those colors. So they say that it is a smoke bath bomb. So drop this in the bath and take a picture, because the bath bomb will make a smoke effect that looks cool with the cover. So let's check out the cover of this book. Wow, that is awesome. Ember of Night. Pulse-pounding romance, epic world building, and plenty of twists and turns. Ember of Night will be your next fantasy obsession. Perfect for fans of Cassandra Clare, who, hello, she's a favorite. I love Cassandra Clare. That is amazing. Well, thank you, Entangled Teen, for this incredible book. So that's everything, my friends. Oh, wait, I have one more. One more, but it's a fun one. I mean, they've all been fun. This was really cool because this is from my friend Carla. I won a giveaway for this book that I was like seriously so excited to get. This is To Love and to Loathe. I wanted this really badly and I won her giveaway, and then she sent it in this. So if you don't know, this is A Hum for Hope. She is one of my favorite makers of book sleeves because she always has this leather bottom, which I think really helps when you stick your book sleeves in a bag because the bottom can get nasty. And then she has these leather ties. So Carla's Book Corner surprised me today when I opened my mail, and not only did I get the book that I won, but she sent me this awesome book sleeve from A Hum for Hope. So I will connect all of these people that I stated in below. I'll do that right now. Actually, I don't know how to do it until after I end the chat, but I will go add everybody so that you can follow all these awesome people. You can follow all of these accounts. You can find these books. I'll also link my Amazon so that you can find the books. And I think that's it. So that, my friends, is my massive book haul. That's my book mail from this past week. And now you can see why I read a book a day because I get a lot of book mail. But I do want to share my book mail. I do feel like I am blessed to have publishers and authors send me books, and I am a fast reader and I like to just pay it forward and share them with you. So if there was a book that you are interested in, comment below which book you want. I will enter you into a giveaway, and on Sunday I will announce the winners and then mail some books to you so that you can enjoy these after I do. So thanks so much for joining along and following along this book mail book haul. And let me know what you are reading. I always love to know what everyone else is reading. I just finished Of Women and Salt today, and we'll start. What am I starting? I feel like there's a book I'm supposed to be reading next, but oh, yeah, Chateau. I'd show it to you, but it's literally holding my computer up. The Women of Chateau Lafayette is my book club book for this month. This month it's ending, and our chat is on Sunday, so I need to power through, and it's a behemoth. So I will be reading that and then hopefully sharing my review here soon. So that is all. Thanks for joining Mama Leighellen's Book Nook, and boiler up, folks. Yes, I am fully geared up. My son just finally committed to go to Purdue. So it's his senior year in high school, and we've been anxiously waiting for him to choose what school he's going to go to. And this is what he chose. So Mama's all in. Boiler up, go Purdue. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining me, and I will see you next time. I think I'm done. I'm like, your stream will automatically end. I hope so. I hope so. Thanks for joining me. And I'm sure I will do another one of these after I get more book mail.